station, everyone. Happy new comic book day. Happy Whiplash Wednesday with the PCP Army Bad Batch. We're at it again for another week. This Wednesday is never going to stop. Hopefully everybody picked up what they wanted to pick up on this beautiful new comic book day. Hopefully everybody's having a great new year. Guys, it all started over at Nick Comic Culture's channel for the PCP Army Bad Batch Whiplash Wednesday. For his cadets, toys, and comics, look at what they have for new comic book day, what they have for figures, pops, collectibles, you name it. Go check out that channel because you may find something you love. You never know unless you try. And I'll get to the rest of what is happening with the PCP Army Bad Batch and Whiplash Wednesday after this episode, because this is episode 39 of Chatting with the Comic Community, and I have a guy that I've been wanting to get to know a little bit more. So I'm super excited to have him on the channel. I've got to know him throughout this amazing year on YouTube over at Spinetix, but never got to talk one-on-one with him. So I'm super excited to have him here, but he's not alone. He's brought two of his co-hosts that have just started coming onto his channel, and his channel is just fantastic with these two little co-hosts. So let me bring out Dave and his two new co-hosts.
Station, Trav. What's up, man? We're so happy to be here with you.
I'm so excited to have you here with me. Kind of threw me off guard. You were like, "Oh, I'm bringing two of my co-hosts today. I hope that you don't mind." And I was like, "No, man. Like, this show is mostly is about you and to get to know you as a channel, as a member of this amazing community." So I'm super excited to have you, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Yeah, totally. Why don't you take it away?
I'm Thomas Collections.
I'm
Sterling Collects.
Yeah, and I'm Dave Collects. Yeah. We are the Yeah family. And my wife is also involved. She does filming and editing for us. It's a whole family thing here. Like you said, my channel has kind of evolved. It originally started just me and showing off some comic book unboxing videos that I was getting in the mail. And out of nowhere, it just was like these guys were involved, and I was watching John's comics with kids and got some ideas from him. I was like, oh man, this is going to be interesting to see where this goes. And it went from comic books to Funko Pops to Legos, and like that's what the evolution of the channel. It just keeps changing, and we're just rolling with it, having a great time.
So I always like to start the show by big screening you and letting you tell the audience that don't know a lot about you a little bit about yourself, but it's a little different this time. So I'll big screen you and we'll go Dave, Thomas, and then Sterling. Tell the audience a little bit about yourselves.
Sounds great, man. I'm Dave, and Dave Collects. Yeah. The channel started out. I ran into Harry Old Fat Guy week after week after week at the local comic book shop. And one day he told me he had a live stream or a YouTube channel, and I was like, oh, no way. He's like, yeah, jump on, check it out. And I checked it out that Saturday, and he told me, no, you need to jump on live stream with me. And I was like, whoa, what? So I, made a background, got kind of halfway set up, and started live streaming out of nowhere. And the first night I was on with Harry Old Fat Guy one afternoon, Sith Lordly, always in the chat, supporting everybody. He saw me on Harry Old Fat Guy's channel, brought me on to Spinetix. The first night I was ever on YouTube, the first day I was ever on YouTube, ended up being on Spinetix, and it's just been insane from there. My background in comic books and collecting has been in my blood since I was a child. It started roaming the deserts at my grandma's house in Texas, finding stuff in the sand dunes from, different time periods, like old time. You find arrowheads and bullet casings from old guns, all kinds of cool stuff in the sand. Old bottles were my favorite. Glass bottles was where it probably... Yeah, like anything with advertising on it, like glass bottles with advertising on it. I was a collector since a kid, but comic books I found Probably before I was Thomas's age, between Sterling and Thomas's age, I
So,
found
like,
comic books.
8?
Yeah, I was probably 7 or 8. Found Spider-Man, Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man and Spawn were the 2 books that really, really caught my attention as a kid. Anytime I could, I would find and grab them. But my parents didn't approve of Spawn, especially. Like Spider-Man was okay, and X-Men and those books were okay. But like,
But Spot is.
if my mom saw a Spawn book, like I had to hide those ones, or they would be in the trash. So that's where I started collecting as a kid, and as we all do as teenagers, you find other things to spend your money on. You know, so I got out of collecting for a long time. Had kids, and then found myself back into it, sharing the same things, the same nostalgia that I have for things that from 30 years ago when we were kids. Coming back and seeing those like being rebooted and remade, into the new era where our kids can enjoy them as well, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and He-Man, Masters of the Universe, Transformers, to name just a few. That's just like scratching the surface of the nostalgia that has been coming back. So it's been really cool coming back to it the last 3-4 years, when I got back into comic books. And then, like I said, just this past year, getting into YouTube and finding that, I've been on YouTube watching for longer than I've been on, but just a little bit longer. I just found out about the comic book community like, a year and a half, 2 years ago, and just started producing content this past 10 months or so. So it's been insane and so much fun. Like you say, the AOKs you get from people are just so amazing. Like the heartfelt letters that I've got from people that I didn't think I knew that well, or like, have just started to meet, have been so cool, just in relation to what they say about our content and how much they appreciate what we're putting out, with the kids, because these are the next generation of collectors. So I'll let them introduce themselves. What do you think, Thomas? Why don't you tell Travis what you're into?
I'm Thomas, and I like video games, and I like collecting Legos and Funko Pops.
Yeah, Legos and Funko Pops. What's your favorite Lego collection?
Probably my Spider-Man No Way Home that I recently just got.
Spider-Man No Way Home set. Yeah, he's got a huge Marvel Lego set, some Star Wars, a few DC ones mixed in. And what about you, Sterling? Why don't you tell them about yourself? This is Sterling, and why don't you tell them how old you are?
I am 5.
Mm-hmm. And what do you like?
I mostly like Funko Pops and comic books.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which one? Who's your favorite characters?
Mostly Mandalorian and Baby Yoda and all the Avengers.
All of the Avengers.
Yes.
And who are your favorite characters, Thomas? I forgot to ask you that.
The Spider-Man, I like them. Like the Spider-Man universe.
All the Spideys in the multiverse of Spideys.
And the second Spider-Man, when Stacy, she went into the universe and she saw Spider-Man. Miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are super excited. Like these guys said, we are a huge Spider-Verse family. Miles, Gwen, Silk, Spider-Man 2099, Spider-Man India that we're excited to see, plus whoever else they can bring in.
They can bring a lot.
Exactly. We are just a huge fanatics of the Spider-Verse. So we were super excited to see that trailer drop this past month.
It's super cool.
And we are looking forward to going and seeing the Spider-Man movie that just dropped, but have not made it to theaters yet. So I will not be watching your show, Travis, about the spoilers that's coming up. But
I've seen so many spoilers.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Watching those spoiler videos.
That is awesome. Yeah, that is happening over on Legion of Comics channel later on.
Nice.
Actually, back December 19th.
Yep.
That was a while ago. But that is super exciting. So you said you collected Spider-Man as a kid. but your mom wouldn't let you have Spawn. And of course not, because like I've read Spawn, I know what it's all about, and it's definitely not for kids.
Right.
So you said you got back into
Dad
comic.
thinks your dad thinks your mom has handsome nugget hands. What? Nugget hands?
He's trying to burn you right now, TM. He's trying to burn you. I think I didn't catch it. Yeah, my mom was not into the Spawn. My parents, super Christian family growing up, so it was definitely looked down upon. Like I said, superheroes were one thing, but when it came to the graphic content that was in some of the Spawns, I remember being younger than Thomas, like when I first picked up the Spawn and was like, oh, what? Totally mind blown, like the artwork, the line work. I'm an artist as well. I didn't really, I don't really mention that, because I do it just for fun.
Your first YouTube video, you had a big wall or whatever.
Yeah. So shout out to my
of
first
dots.
YouTube video. In the background on the first appearance I made on YouTube, that was one of my my original pieces of artwork. It was a Hunter S. Thompson picture that was hanging in the background.
That took
And yeah, it was like a 15-hour picture. It took me like 15 hours to do all the dot work in that picture. It's all pointillism, all little dots.
I thought that would have taken a lot longer.
Yeah. But I do love doing artwork, and so when I saw Todd McFarlane's line work for both Spider-Man and for Spawn, he is definitely the one. That is the person that I attribute my comic habit to, or the start of my comic collecting to, is Todd McFarlane and nobody else. He definitely holds that place in my collection where and I did get I have no Spawn right now. I think my buddy Tylox is actually sending me a Spawn #1 that he found on that comic crawl, because I got rid of my Spawn collection a while back, and I have been regretting it ever since. So I will at least get a #1 back from my boy Tylox the Mighty. Shout out to Tylox.
Minifigure of Spawn?
I don't think so. I don't have any Spawn minifigures. But yeah, we like a lot of stuff here in the family. We all love collecting our own things and enjoy, like I said, the Spider-Verse a lot. So.
Yeah.
So you said you only been back into reading for the last couple of years. How's your comic reading expanded from Spider-Man?
So I still find myself hooked on the classics, the classic characters at least. I have been into the new stuff that's coming out, like the new Kate Bishop Hawkeye, that series I'm picking up. Silk, we read that Silk series by Maureen Gu that just came out this past year. That was great. We loved it. And that was just like a 5-part miniseries. We super dug that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin.
It's super good.
Yeah, we're waiting for the last one to come out on that. But yeah, it's it has evolved into reading other things, but I still find myself stuck on stuff that I've known and loved. I don't find myself when I first got back into collecting and I kind of got hooked into the FOMO and I need to get try to get everything. I have a long box full of books that I could just get rid of right now and not be worried about because it was from that time period. But then I realized what I was doing, and I was like, oh, what am I, I could care less about these books. What am I doing wasting my money on these? I need to stick with what I know and love. And that's kind of where I find myself. So Dark Ages is another one of our favorite reads because it's favorite characters seen in a different light, in a different storyline.
He's
Venom.
Yeah.
Venomized Miles, or he's got the Venom and Carnage symbiote, in that way. It's crazy. Yeah. We love our favorite characters, and I've kind of been sticking with that just so that we can continue to get the books that we want to read and keep in our collection, because I found myself buying all these other things that I really could care less about in the long run, even though everybody says they're amazing and they're good. I would buy books and they would just sit there. I wouldn't even take the time to read them to see if they were good for myself. Like, because
Yeah.
I found myself only reading the books that I still wanted to read with the kids mainly. Like, that's what it's about, like, for us. Like, I was reading Red Room, like, totally off the subject, but that was like a book that I, got caught on for a few, and I was like, oh, this is cool, it's different, but I like didn't find it, where I had to get the next one, or I would be worried like about not having the set. I would rather spend my money on like the ongoing Miles, or you know, um, just characters that we would rather spend our money on, and to make sure we have all of them in the collection.
So that's really cool that you all read them as a family. Now, Thomas and Sterling, is there comics that you may read that your father doesn't, or do you read everything that Dave reads?
I read a few different books, but not much.
Yeah, he found a few good books. We go to the free comic book day. Anytime there's a free comic book day. But Thomas found he picked up like Sonic the Hedgehog and like Power Rangers, and like stuff that he's liked on his own.
I found a DC book and I like
King Shark. He dug the King Shark free comic book day.
And the new movie I watched.
Yeah, we watched I let these. Hey, so don't give me shit in the comments, but these guys watch everything that I do on when it comes to comic book movies. Like, they are not. Some scenes may be censored with an eye cover, or something like that. But like, for the most part, like, these guys get to watch anything that comes out, Marvel, DC, anything comic book related on the big screen. But what about you, Sterling? What books are your favorites to read?
Mostly Power Ranger books.
Power Rangers.
Do you read them at school? No, they don't. Oh, they don't. You don't have them.
Yeah, these guys are gonna be into their own stuff soon. Like I said, I've like kind of guided them as we've gotten into this, comic book adventure together. And yeah, we have been reading mostly together. Like I said, the books that I do take the time to keep up with and read all the time, like Strange Academy, Thor, Miles Morales, anything like Young Avengers or related to Disney Plus, like shows like coming out, like spec stuff. We're huge on that stuff. Like, I love, like, looking to see what shows are coming out in the future and what books we can get before they get too out of hand, like expensive, because some of the books that I've gotten, I bought Miles' first appearance in an Ultimate Fallout 4, and a Spider-Gwen first appearance in Edge of Spider-Verse 2, and those are both in 9.6 slab, like CVC, but I bought them after they had already gotten up there, so like, I'm not worried about it. I could care less that I bought them when they were higher. Like, I know people that bought them and talk about buying them when they were $4 or cover price, and that's cool. I wasn't around for that. Like, I totally am bummed that I wasn't around for that, because I would have been all in on those characters if I was collecting at that point in time. But I did pay up and get those in the collection so that these guys could have that. Like, those aren't going anywhere. They're they are like investment or long-term books in our collection. Like, those would never go anywhere. Same with like most of the Spider-Verse spec books that I've got, like ASM4 Silk, first appearance, Carnage, ASM 361. Like, I collect. I like to keep all those in the personal collection. I try not to let anything go that I'm gonna miss. Like the Spawn. Like, that was a huge learning point for me. Was that Spawn collection going away, and then like realizing it after the fact. Like, what did you just do? Like, that took you years. Like, what were you thinking? Like, that took you years to put together.
And it's not a small collection either. With it continuing to go, and it's like past 300 right now. So
I had the majority. Like, I had almost 1 through 200 complete.
Oh,
Yeah, and so there was some hard books in there to find, like especially past 150. I mean, like once you get past like 150, 175, like the books start going down, and how many are out there and available to even buy.
Yeah, because not only that, there is a bunch of like homages to like older covers and that, but and then plus the print run was low at that. So from like 150 to like three, actually, I think it was like 298 or 290 maybe,
Yeah,
because like when it was getting
super
closer
low.
to 300, the print count went up, and then everybody
Yep,
kept
started
buying a
picking
lot.
back up around 300. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's a milestone coming up!" Like, of course, with how ASM 300 is, like nobody was gonna miss out on Spawn 300. Um, you know,
So yeah, it did get like I don't have any from 150 to 298. So
yeah,
like I know how, and like I look at the prices of them too, and they're like $20 for just one comic, and you're like, okay, so if I buy five, that's $100 right there. It's
yeah,
like, you know how many other
yeah,
back
totally.
issues I can get for $2? Like,
No, totally, totally.
so you
Well,
guys
you
like
guys have
said that
anything
you
else? You guys have anything else to say before you go inside and play?
I don't know.
You don't know? These guys have had a long day. They've been playing in the snow. They've had friends over this weekend.
My friend spent the night twice.
Yep, double sleepover.
But before you
Well,
guys go, like I would like to hear like what you guys are doing on the channel together.
We like to do our
We're gonna definitely be looking out for some more Lego blind bags, huh?
and our advent calendar.
And yeah, we're gonna finish up our Lego Advent series all the way through Christmas.
Only like 5 more days.
Yeah, or another. Yeah, all the way through the 24th, we'll be doing the Lego series. So that's about. I mean, like I said, we're pretty just roll with the flow on the channel. We don't have like a weekly schedule. The only thing that I do weekly is like Harry Old Fat Guy show on Saturdays at 4 p.m. West Coast time, and then of course we've been doing designated decoys and geek out with Roscoe's late night addiction while Sith's been on break, but everybody just found out when we're recording this. We just got the news that Sith's going to be making his return on New Year's Day, so Spine Ticks will be back on New Year's Day. We're all excited about that.
So guys, like
On
3 weeks ago,
on our channel, we
weeks
just have
ago,
fun and do stuff whenever we can.
yeah, because that would be 3 weeks ago from when this airs, because
Yeah.
this is
Yep.
dropping on January, the end of January.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I knew
So-
this was going to be in the future.
So that's really cool. New Year's Day. So if you
Yep.
guys missed that, go check that out, because that'll be a fantastic show. Probably packed as
Yeah.
well. I'm super excited
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, for sure. So Trav, thanks for having you guys on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
All right, guys, have fun playing. You let me know if you need anything. Word, man. Yeah, dude. Like I said, I appreciate you having us on and giving us a little bit of highlight. You're always in everybody's chats. You're one of the people that stood out when I first got into the YouTube community because I saw your name everywhere. Like I'd see you in no matter what YouTube channel I found, you had already found it and you had already been there for a while and supporting them, and it was super cool to actually get to meet you when you came on Spine Ticks. That was one of my first shows, one of my first few shows on. You came on, and I was like, oh, this dude's super cool. Like, it's finally good to put a, face to the name that you see in the chats all the time. And that's one of the other things that stood out about Spine Ticks is, like you go from being in the chat to being on screen so quick. It's just crazy how it works out like that.
Yeah, I know. It's a crazy feeling. Like you go from chats, and you never expect to be on a show with some of the people that you've been watching too.
Yeah.
As well as that, so it's crazy. But yeah, let's get more into your comic collecting and that. Like you said, you got into like Todd McFarlane was your guy. Spawn was
Hmm.
not for you as a kid because of your mom. Spider-Man was always. And then like
Yep.
the new Spider-Man movie came out back in December. Have you seen it yet?
No, I have not yet. I'm planning on going this next week and making sure the kids and I get in there to see it. We go see those as that's like our family date night. We're always excited when a Marvel movie drops because that means we're all going to get popcorn, we're all going to get sodas and have a night at the movies, go out to dinner. We love Marvel movie nights, so I'm looking forward to that this week.
Yeah, that's all awesome. Like, I can just see like you and your family share this common interest, and it's like it's the like it's a yeah family, and
Yep.
you guys are always like. So was it the same with all the Marvel TV shows that came out with like WandaVision and all that? Did you guys like all gather around and like make it a family night?
For the most part, the youngest Sterling, he's still a little bit young. Like he's still into the cartoons and like he loves the Spider-Man animated show. Like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends has made a return, and it's a great new show. He likes watching that. But for WandaVision and Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and What If, Mary, myself, and Thomas are hooked. Like you know, can't stop watching. I loved it all. Some people were like, "Oh, this episode's too slow," and this everybody's criticizing it, like picking it apart like as much as they can. Like, I'm like, God, like, what is you guys' problem? Just enjoy it. Like, they put this out every week. Like, just enjoy it, watch it, and enjoy it. Like, stop trying to criticize and pick it apart every little scene. Like, but it's great. I do love watching the Easter eggs like hidden in all the scenes. I love trying to find those before I watch like a new Rockstars video or a Cosmic Wanderer, Emergency Awesome, or like one of those breakdown videos after they do drop and I watch this watch the actual show. I love to watch those to see what Easter eggs might be hinting towards future projects. Because there's hundreds of Easter eggs just hidden throughout, like hinting towards possible future projects from Marvel, which I love how they do that.
Yeah, I agree. Like they did drop a lot of stuff into that WandaVision show. Like not only did they create a new hero that's going to be in future movies, that's Photon or the new Miss
Mm-hmm.
Marvel. I forget her actual name in the show. Like they
Spectrum,
introduced,
or yeah, they could. Yeah, I haven't heard if they're gonna go with Spectrum or Photon. I think it might be Photon. I'm not sure, but
and then they
Monica
introduced
Rambeau.
Agatha.
Yep, Agatha Harkness. We also got White Vision. That show was epic. I mean, yes, the first 3 episodes were a little bit slow. I totally agree, but there's nothing to scoff on. I mean, they were done that way for a reason. It's all about build up, and that's what Marvel knows best is build up. How to make something build to what they want everybody to see a final picture of. They don't want to throw it all out there in the first episode or second episode. They're not going to give it to you all. Like they know what they're doing. They've been doing it properly since 2008 when the first Iron Man came out. Like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I do agree. And so you've been watching all of the Marvel movies, all the Marvel TV shows. Now we're gonna go towards DC a little bit because I don't hear you talk a
Yeah,
lot about that. Do you like some DC? Is there some you don't like?
I still appreciate DC. Like I don't talk about it a lot on our channel because we're mainly Marvel based. With the movies especially, but I love the DC franchise as well. I was a fan of Batman and Superman from the time I was a kid. I had Batman action figures. I had Superman action figures. Um, yeah, every Batman movie that dropped. I loved them all. It's the same thing with those. People pick them apart, and I just love them all. Like it's nostalgic to me. It reminds me of being a kid, like watching those with my parents. Every time they would come out, it was just good stuff. Like And I still have DC books in the collection. I do have a decent amount of DC books in my collection, but it's not what I really focus on. When I got back into collecting this past 3 or 4 years, it was really hard to, figure out where to go with DC. I couldn't figure out where to jump in. Like, I would watch a lot of videos and I was trying to figure out, but I found on DC that I was buying more books on cover buys, not really to read. Um, it was definitely more like cover buys for me on DC, like for current stuff at least, because I couldn't figure out with all the new first appearance. Like, it seemed like every book there's a new first appearance of a new character, and I just didn't know which Batman storyline to jump in. There's 7 different Batman titles. Like, it was way too confusing for somebody trying to jump in. And that's like all I would say to DC as a comic book collector, or as somebody trying to get into or back into comic book collecting. It was way too confusing for me as to where to pick up. Miles Morales or Amazing Spider-Man, they're ongoing storylines. You can kind of jump in and catch up and see what you missed, or like kind of put the pieces together throughout time reading. But I didn't find that ease with DC like I did getting back into Marvel. So yeah, I've kind of stayed away from like any kind of runs. Like, I don't have any kind of DC runs put together other than like the adventures or the Batman adventures, like the original, animated one from the
Yeah.
TV series. I have that run almost done, but that's like really the only DC run I've put together, other than the Batman Fortnite 0 Point books that I put together for the kids. Like, they were all about those Fortnite books to get the skins and the pickaxes and flight gear and all that stuff.
Yeah, I would say I have the Outsiders. I have by Judd Winnick. That's a complete run, as well as Batman and Robin, Volume 1. I have
Right.
that. It started off with Grant Morrison, and then later issues, the writing changed. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel the same way with DC right now. Like, there's too many Batman books. I am down to picking up only one, and that's I Am Batman. It's not even a Batman book that Bruce Wayne is Batman. It's Jace. Um, what was his name? Jace Fox
Okay.
as Batman for I Am Batman and stuff, and then Robin and Harley Quinn. But Harley Quinn's been an
Yeah.
alright story, and it's been really fun. But a lot of the reason why I'm picking it up is for the covers, but I'm still enjoying the
Mm-hmm.
story.
Yeah, I heard good things about like the what is it? Kill Bang, Eat Bang Kill
Oh
Tour.
yeah, that's the other
Um,
one. The
I heard that's like a really funny read. Like, I've heard really good things about that. So like it's cool that there are still books from DC that are doing that, like easy reads, fun reads. Like, because like I said, I just couldn't figure out, because I love Batman and I like Superman, but it was just too hard to figure out like where to jump in. And it seemed like if I did pick up a book and try to read it, it wasn't as easy to figure out what all I had missed. To need to be at that point in the storyline.
yeah, I
I
agree.
really dig we really dig mini series, like the 5-part mini series. Like I said, I mentioned Silk like this past year, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Last Ronin, like mini series, like 4 or 5, 6-part series. We love those. Easy to put together, easy to put on your pull list. They're not going to break the bank trying to put like a whole series or a whole run together. Like, quick mini series like that, we've really enjoyed. I find ourselves reading a lot more of those.
Have you and the kids ever gone into like the Transformers books from IDW, or any of like the
No.
even Marvel titles that are coming out? Like, I know that
So
there's.
I have the old school one from '84. I have like a number one from '84, but and maybe like a couple of random other ones from that run. But I haven't gotten into collecting Transformers again. I didn't know, the same thing on that. I didn't really know if it was easy to jump into. Um, Different storylines going on. I know that Shattered Glass is super popular. I hear good things about that. Is that one of the
Yeah,
ones you're reading?
I'm not reading that. I'm planning on picking that up, going forth in that because I hear Flash by Night talking about it and how it's like a different take on it, like,
Mm-hmm.
and how like the Decepticons are kind of like the hero, like, and Starscream is like the main hero and stuff. I think that's how Flash said it. And so it's interesting. It's just a flip on the original type of story. But I'm picking up Beast Wars
Yeah.
and that, but
Yeah, I know you're a
um,
Beast Wars fanatic.
definitely for that. But like I know IDW has a lot of titles that they do kind of like for kids with Marvel and like the Marvel
Mhm.
superhero type things and that. Are you picking that up for the kids?
No, no, I haven't picked up too much. I haven't really been picking those up, but I do keep an eye out for anything I think that the kids and I would enjoy as a read together, or something that they would read by themselves. Even I try to pick up stuff for them here and there. Um, they're really into like the games, like the books based on games that they play. Like I said, like Sonic the Hedgehog was really popular. There was some Minecraft comic books, that they picked up that they liked. Pokemon, they picked up some Pokemon comic books that they enjoyed as well. Like stuff that they enjoy from other aspects, like not so much. They know them from the card game or from collecting cards or the toys or the shows, so they pick up the books that they're used to seeing characters from.
Now, speaking of Pokemon, do you guys play the Pokemon Go?
No, I didn't get into that one. Are you one of the guys traveling all of Canada and USA, like looking for all of
Oh no. Yeah, I'm just like searching everywhere for Pokemon Go for
them?
Pokemon. Now you can get them like just by sitting at home, but yeah, no, I play Pokemon Go sometimes and that, and so does Big Herm Collectibles, and
Nice.
uh, yeah, just
No, that's cool. No, I
interest
never
because
got
just
into
because you mentioned Pokemon and you have kids and stuff, I
it.
was just
Right.
wondering. So
No, they love gaming. They're super into gaming. Like they both play Fortnite nonstop. I myself am more of like Call of Duty. I like more Call of Duty and like Grand Theft Auto, like classic games like that. Racing games, I dig like MotoGP, motorcycle racing. That's always, and Tiger Woods golf, like classic, old school games. Like I still, I'm stuck back in the day. TM. I like once I had kids, like after like 10 years ago, that's like when I stopped keeping up with all like the newest thing coming out, like, and I was happy with what I had, and like moved on to like, the family side of thing and just being happy, like being a family, and more spending my money on stuff for them instead of stuff for me and what I wanted. Like it changed over, to stuff for them, like stuff that I think they will like when I'm not around, or stuff that they would be happy to have, when that day comes around that I'm not around.
now speaking on like how you guys watch everything as a family, like the Marvel series, the cartoons and stuff. Is there any
Mm-hmm.
like movies, like let's say from Disney or Pixar, that is non-comic book related that you guys like watch as a family that you have enjoyed? Like I'd like to hear some of the movies that you'd like, because I'm a huge
Oh,
cartoon
totally.
movie type of guy.
Oh, I'm
So
a huge buff. I knew we were gonna get on this kick on cartoons eventually. I've heard you talk about like Adult Swim, and what's Adult Swim called in Canada again? What was
um,
that?
it was like Teletoon at night, and
That's what it was. I remember you saying that on a show one time, and I was like, "That's interesting." Like, that they called it something different on in Canada, but that's cool. Like, Adult Swim hooked me as, a teenager. I'm a huge Adult Swim fanatic, but for the family side of it and what we watch, like Disney and Pixar for sure. I mean, Moana, Jungle Book, Meet the Robinsons, Toy Story, Monsters Inc. I mean, I could Big Hero 6. That is comic book related. How about that? But yes, it just keeps going. Like I could literally just keep going and list all the movies in the spectrum. But we love it all. I was a Disney fan from the time I was a kid. Robin Hood is definitely probably my favorite Disney movie. Robin Hood and Peter Pan, classics to me. Aladdin, um, Lion
Yeah,
King, all
speak
the
on that
classics.
Robin Hood too. Like for that was my first introduction to Robin Hood. Robin Hood was always a fox to me.
Yeah, yeah,
And that
same.
from that Disney series. So like whenever I got introduced to, I'd be like, no, that's not Robin Hood. He's not a fox, man. Like,
Yeah, you see a person playing Robin Hood, and you're like, who the fuck is this guy? Who's this guy? Like, we can't, watch this for 2 hours. This isn't the Robin Hood I want. Hashtag not
yeah,
my Robin Hood.
exactly. I love that. I remember as a kid too, Fox and the Hound just made me cry. Just
Yeah.
just like I never cried
Yep.
as much as a kid. Like I like felt for this, and it goes back to like as you grow older, you kind of feel like Chandler from that Friends episode where he's just like, yeah, I got upset when they stopped drawing Bambi's mom. Like, and you're just like, you get to that point where you're like, you're a kid and you cry because of a cartoon, and now you're older, you're just like, oh, they just
Yep.
didn't draw the character. He's not really dead.
Yeah. No, totally. Like you're saying, there's like some hardcore sentimental feelings attached to, certain movies and like certain scenes. I know one that sticks out, like when you were saying like Bambi and, certain scenes like that. Like one that stands out is in Lion King, like when his dad dies or, when his dad falls off the cliff. Like that's a brutal scene that stands out in my memory from my childhood. Like, and another one was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You ever watch that one?
Oh yeah.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So you remember the ant when the ant dies? Oh, dude, I remember crying my eyes out as a kid, like for the ant, like for one little ant. I cried, and then I remember not stepping on ants anytime I could. Like if I was watching the ground where I was walking, I wouldn't step on ants if I could. Like, I would try to not kill ants.
That's
Had like
crazy.
some weird subconscious about ants after that movie.
I can get that. I think people
Oh,
started to really like ants after Ant-Man, and we're like, oh, ants are our friends.
right?
But there was so many movies out there. Like as a kid, there's like A Bug's Life and Ants. Just both
Yeah,
movies like and it made you feel for bugs for a while, and you're like, not you didn't want to crush them at all.
totally.
And then you realize how like foolish you've been acting as an adult, and you're like, can't believe I was like that. But oh well. But I love the cartoon movies, man. Like freaking another one, James and the Giant Peach. Made you feel different
Yeah, that's a good
towards
one.
insects in that. That was a great movie.
Cloudy with a
Kind of
Chance of
scary.
Meatballs. That was,
I have not watched that
was
yet.
like a totally different, movie for like when it came out. Like it was kind of nothing really like it. Super imaginative. Up, I really dug Up. That one tugs at the heartstrings, like especially for me. Yeah, getting older, like getting old, having kids, and like doing this whole getting older thing is really hard. Like especially when they tug on those heartstrings in those movies. You're like, oh God, I'm trying to keep it together.
Yeah, another one, and they're coming out with a second one here soon, and probably be out by the time this airs. Sing 2. I really enjoyed Sing.
Oh
The
yeah,
first
that's
Sing.
coming out very soon. So yeah, by the time this airs, that'll definitely be out. And we really enjoyed Sing One. Also, that reminds me of another one, which would be Zootopia. Dude, like talk about a movie about including everyone and like a good overall story and theme to the movie. Like, dude, Shakira as the gazelle, killing it with the music. Um, God, there's so much good stuff about both of those movies. Um,
Hey, isn't there going to be a Zootopia 2 as well?
I have not heard, but that would be cool. I mean, it did so well. I don't know why they wouldn't. I'm sure they could come up with another storyline that would be good enough for a sequel for sure.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
Sloth
what Toy
too.
Toy Story's on what, like Toy Story 5 or something? So yeah, like they should be able to come up with number 2 for a different story.
Yeah, I don't. The funny thing is, you don't see any other Pixar movie that's well, I guess it's Disney now, because Disney owns Pixar. Um,
Hmm.
that's gone as far as Toy Story has gone. Like Monsters Inc. has
Yeah.
gone two,
No.
and then a TV show. But
No. They. Yeah. They've been getting pretty big. But yeah, Toy Story is definitely like you said, progressed that in that way. Like couldn't stop it. Like everybody wanted more and more, and it still hasn't gotten old. They still keep finding ways of you grow, like the age of the progression of age for those movies, like Andy as a kid, Andy and growing up, and then Andy going to college. It's like there's like the whole, like it was this done in the same timeline as we were doing that in our lives. Like that's why those movies touch so many people, I think, is because we were experiencing that same thing in our lives. Like, man, like, what do I want to do with these toys? Like, I got to go to college, and I don't want to get rid of them, and I don't want to give them to anybody else. Like, but like, what do you do? Like, yeah, stash them in your parents' attic or whatever you can do so that you can still have them at some point in your life. And luckily, I've gotten to that point in my life where my parents are bringing me those things back. Like, anytime they make a trip out here to California to visit, they're bringing me stuff, from their basement or their shed or their attic, like anywhere I stashed stuff and they found it over the last 10 years or 15 years. Like, they're starting to bring all that stuff back to me, which is cool.
I really like what they did with Toy Story 2. Like you said, like we progressed with it, but then
Mm-hmm.
the where they actually give away the toys in like in one of the movies, in that it
Yeah,
was just like, we're
totally.
handing this down to the new generation. It was like a
Yeah,
nod at
and
that in a
Bonnie.
way.
Yeah, wasn't it Bonnie? Yeah, the little girl. She's the new. Yeah, and she ends up getting all the toys. That was really cool. Sunnyside Daycare Center. Like, they all go to the Sunnyside. Like, that's super cool. Like how they ended one storyline and started it new for a new generation. Like you said. Like, and that's how I feel about like all the stuff I collect, like with the kids, is it's for a point. Like, if we don't get the next generation into the stuff that we're into, like if you don't share this love with the kids that are coming up, then all they're going to do is video game and get into that new age stuff, and they're not going to appreciate where any of those characters on Fortnite even came from. Like all of the Marvel, DC, you got Alien and Predator in there. I mean, you talk about a wide variety of character skins in one game. Like, Fortnite has it all. But if you don't make them appreciate where those characters originated and the storylines and all the above, then all our comic books and stuff that we're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for, it's all going to be worthless. It's all going to be just garbage in the future if nobody fucking, or if nobody cares. Nobody's going to want it. Nobody's going to go out searching for it like we are right now. These kids aren't going. I think my kids are going to be some that do, and I see others in the community that are doing this with their kids that have the same appreciation, and that's really cool. It's great to see more of that.
Yeah, I agree. I think what John said, I think Robbie asked him this question one time, and asked John, like, how did you get like your kids like interested? And he said he started them off young, like didn't force anything
Yeah,
on them, but like kind of like just showed
yeah,
them, like introduced it
totally.
to them, and let them make the decision of whether they wanted to. And they've grown up and found their own love for certain things. May it not be the same love John has, because I'm pretty sure he said that they don't read X-Men. And John, yeah, as you guys
Right.
know, John loves X-Men.
That's, yeah. I know that's
So
gotta hurt, huh, John? That's gotta be rough. But I mean, luckily for me, like my favorite character and their favorite characters, like we all have the same love for the same characters right now. But like I said, they're gonna get older and like go off on their own way and find their own things that they're into. And it was cool that I could get them started on that. Like you said, John just gave them a couple things, let them, see what they like, and let them be the decision makers when it comes. Like, like Thomas and I love Dark Ages. I mean, when that came out and we read the first book of Dark Ages, we were like, "What? Like, this is cool. This is a cool new storyline. Can't wait for more." You know, it was one of those books that gives you the feels like, you know, all over again, like when you were young. So I definitely like that's one of my favorite things right now to read with him because it gets us excited. Like we're waiting for the next one, just like you know, Last Ronin. We're waiting for the last one to come out, and then we'll find some new stuff to read together. You know, the ongoing series that we do pick up, we'll keep picking up. Um, but yeah, I think it'll be cool to see what they end up reading on their own in the future.
Yeah, is there have they strayed away from Marvel as well? Have they been reading some DC and some indies as well?
A little bit here and there. I know. I'm trying to think of some of the independents. Yeah, Thomas read a couple independents that he really liked. I'm trying to think of what some are, but yeah, Sterling. He's still a little. Yeah, he's not reading. You know, fully on his. You know, we're still reading Two Stir or with. You know, he's still learning that. But I know when he gets a little bit older, he'll have some say in what he wants to get. Like I said, Free Comic Book Day is a good day for that because they can both go grab just a stack of whatever they want. You know, bring it home and be stoked for a month. You know, like those books will keep them occupied for a month with how much video gaming they do and other stuff playing with their friends. You know, they don't spend as much time reading comic books as I do, but they still love it.
Yeah, and that's what Free Comic Book Day is all about. Like, it is for the kids to get into comic books. It's a way for
Yeah.
kids to get into it. Like, I think they should try to expand it a little bit more. Maybe bring it into Scholastic book fairs, if possible,
Yeah.
and like give away
Yeah,
the
that's
free
a good
comic book
idea.
days there.
They
That
totally
way,
should. I don't know why they haven't done that yet, you know.
because most people, like if you're a kid too, you're intimidated if you're by yourself to go into a comic book store on your own. You have it
Yeah.
at a Scholastic book fair where there's just the school is full of kids and everybody
Yeah.
is in that one place. They're bound to pick it up more often than not. So I think hopefully they could eventually get that because kids are definitely the future for this comic industry.
Yeah.
So if we don't get them on
Yeah, the
board,
way
then there is none.
I found a way I grab extras of certain books anytime they have like certain comic shops will order way more of one, you know, free comic book day book than they will another. And they'll have stacks of those left over after free comic book day. So I like to go back and grab as many as I can, even if it's the same copy of the same book, because on Halloween or Christmas comes around, you know, there's kids around. You just, hey, here's a free comic book. Here's a free comic book. Like Halloween, I was definitely the hit in my neighborhood. I swear I had kids breaking down in tears on my porch when I was handing them comic books. I was like, whoa, whoa, calm down. It's all good. Like, enjoy. It's for you. But yeah, it was super cool seeing people's faces, you know, giving them free books, you know, and it's like they've never had that experience before. And, you know, you've opened that door in their life. You can see that you just opened that door into their life, you know, that you know, you might have just given somebody the itch and they're going to be hooked forever.
That's really cool. I've never really thought about that. Like, if you can, like, that's perfect to do, man.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you said Halloween, I was like, oh man, you're giving them out for Halloween. That's freaking amazing. That's a
Yep.
great way to
Oh, I still give
get.
candy, and don't think I'm dipping the kids on candy. Like we're like throwing handfuls of candy in everybody's baskets, but like at the same time, if I see a kid dressed up as a comic book character, I'm like, hey, you like that character? I'm like, here, come here. Like I'll see if I have a book like, you know, free Spider-Man or Venom, you know, comic book day book. I handed out a bunch of those, and like some of those are like turning out to be like good books. You know, like some of those. You know, books are like, even though they're free books, they're like actually worth money now. It's like, you know, some of them have appearances in and stuff.
That's the thing I don't like about the free comic book days raising up in price in a way because like
Mm-hmm.
it is for kids and it's the way to get it in.
Yeah.
Like I'm praising you for giving them out because that is like a perfect way to get kids into it. Like you're giving somebody like if if I would have got that as a kid, I would have been like, oh no, candy. But at the same time, I got home, unpacked and stuff.
Right?
It's there.
Yeah,
The
totally. You have
it,
that for a lot longer than you have the candy. You know, like you're gonna be sick of eating candy, and then you're gonna pick up that book, and then you can still set it down, pick it up the next day, and the next day, you know, it'll be there forever if you want it to.
or you're just gonna read it while you eat your candy and stuff because like you have it now. So like you're gonna look at
Yeah.
it. You're gonna there 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna open it up now since I have it. I'm gonna look
Yeah.
through it, and then it could open up the door for something new. And you, by just giving that out for Halloween, could potentially like created a new comic book reader. So I
Yeah.
praise you
Dude,
for
I
that,
still
my
have a
man.
stack right here. I was just gonna say I still have a stack of, you know, King Shark and Batman, you know, all the free comic book day stuff. Oh yeah, there's a Beast Boy and Raven. You know, there was a bunch of crazy books out, and like I said, a bunch got over ordered. So you know, anytime I'm in the comic shop spending money, you know, I'm like, hey, can I take another stack of 5 freebies? And yeah, go for it. You know, just stack them up, and like I said, next Halloween, hand them out. You know, kids will be stoked.
That is awesome, man. Man, it's been a blast chatting with you. It is hitting that hour
Dude,
mark.
seriously, we could keep going. I know this one might have to be a part one of episode, but yeah, like dude, seriously, it's great to actually get to chat one on one with you because we've been on panels together, we've been on shows together. You've seen me like draw and be out of my mind crazy on Saturday nights, late night. But yeah, this was a blast getting to actually hang out and chat one on one, TM for sure.
It was. It was fantastic meeting your kids as well. I've seen them on streams a couple of times. I've and there was one time where you guys were trying to host a show and it was just the kids.
Yeah.
That show got banned from YouTube just because it was I don't know, YouTube's weird like that, but that was
Yep.
fantastic. I remember catching the start of that before it happened, but yeah, it was like cool seeing the mini yous because who was it?
Yep.
Lord Chucks as
It
well.
was Lord Chuck's kid. It was Real Rude Six's kid, and my kid were all in our positions on screen. And like Real Rude came up with that idea. He's like, dude, we should do this. Like we're gonna have our kids in our spots, and then we're gonna play this trippy music, bro. And then it's gonna be like, I'm gonna turn all the pictures off and turn them back on, and it's gonna be us there instead. And I was like, yeah, dude, that'll be so epic. It was a great opening to that show. But then for whatever, you know, YouTube is like totally on their game, and I give them props for that because they're protecting our kids like on their platform, and I, you know, give them shout out for that because they noticed that it was just 3 kids on screen and there was a live chat going, and that is totally not allowed, like without somebody there buffering it, you know, to the kids. Like there's got to be some sort of buffer there between the live chat and kids, and it got shut down like almost immediately. The live chat got shut down. Like everybody started messaging us like, hey, nothing's working. We're like, oh no, we got to restart. But that was a really cool
Yeah,
opening on Rude's video that night.
I agree. That would be like I wonder if it would work if you had like a moderator in the chat
Right.
at that time, and you'd be able to have that
No, I might have
because
to try that again.
that is like Rude. Like if you're watching this, that was a fantastic idea. That would like
Yeah,
I didn't know how
for
that was
real.
going to finish until you said like that's how it was going to do it, and I like that
That's how it was
beginning
supposed to go
at
down,
first.
but then it got shut down.
That would have been
Yeah, that was cool.
fantastic, man.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, like I
But
said, dude, it's been great chatting with you. I didn't even get to pick up one comic book to show off or anything. So, you know, like I said, we could always continue this another time, and you just hit me up whenever. I'm gonna be, you know, sending you another recording for your cribs session soon. So look out for that. And I appreciate your support on our channel. And I love to see your name come up on the notifications bar on my screen so I can support you back, dude. Station, bro. For real.
station. I also like to say like thank you. You did talk about doing like the drawings and stuff late nights, and the PCP Army Bad Batch showed up on Spine Ticks, and you did a fantastic drawing for Big Herm Collectibles
Dude, I
and
still have
Missing
them.
Link.
They never hit me up. Remember that night? Yeah, I remember that night too. I still have them because Missing Link and Big Herm, if you're watching this, you better hit me up and send me your addresses so I can send these to you because I still have them sitting here waiting to be shipped out.
I will hit you up on the DMs. I have their addresses, or I can get them. So I'll
Word,
hit you up and give them to you
word,
because I
man,
want to get them out to them as well.
for sure. That was a
But
good night.
guys,
That was a fun night hanging out with the station crew of the PCP Bad Batch Army. Man, you guys are a great crew, and the whole idea behind everybody's persona, everybody's included. You can change somebody's life just by saying hi to somebody in the chat. All of the above. Every ideal that I hear from you guys is spot on. Exactly what I agree with. So that night when Sith told me that you guys, or that week before that Spine Tick show, that Sith told me it was you guys coming on, I was like, oh, hell yes, I can't wait, dude. Those guys are right up our alley. Those are the real like heroes of YouTube. Is guys like you and Herm, Blink, Manny. Like seriously, all you guys like have true, real hearts and changing people's lives out there. And I can only hope to, do the same with our channel and by saying hi to people, even if you don't know them in the chat, like make people feel welcome. Like you seriously can save somebody's life just by saying, "What's up? Hey, thanks for joining us in the chat." Like I don't know you, and it doesn't matter. I want to be friends with you. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for having like even coming and listening to what I have to say. Like that's all it takes.
yeah, everybody matters in the chats and stuff. And I just want to say you're changing things in a different way. You like handing those comics out to kids and stuff. That was changing to bring up your kids into this like you're pushing the way for a new generation. So you're changing things and making a difference just in a different way.
Right.
So guys, like go check
I appreciate
out
that, TM. I do appreciate that.
Dave Collects, and the family. His link to his Instagram is down below, as well as his YouTube channel. Go check out what him and his kids did over the New Year's and over the Christmas break. It was fantastic. I hope you guys are all checking it out. I hope you guys all go sub up to him, and I hope you guys all enjoyed this chat. But Whiplash Wednesday is continuing. Nick Comic Culture with his second video of the day because he's always overcompensating for something. He's going to show you what he picked up for his haul. Then Brandon, Comics Kings, and Missing Link. That's Stefan. Shop it up over on Comics Kings channel on YouTube about Crisis on Infinite Rants. What are they ranting about this week? Tune in and find out. Then ending the night in fashion with a new show, new format, is Big Herm Collectibles, joined by Missing Link and Fable, one collection down, where they'll be talking about movie reviews, comic books, TV reviews. Who knows? Tune in and find out. And we can't wait for Manny to make his triumphant return by ending the night in fashion. But tomorrow, Cinema, if you're watching, PCB Army will always have a seat at the end of Whiplash Wednesdays for you because you are a part of the PCP Army Bad Batch, my man, and I love you so much. Dave, thank you so much for joining me on this amazing day. It was fun chatting with you and the family. I just want to shout out Mary Collects as well. She didn't make it here today, but she is part of your channel as well, helping with editing and that. And so definitely have to give Mary Collects a huge shout out.
Hey, she'll appreciate that, man. She'll be watching when this is airing. As you're watching this right now, she'll be over here in the chat watching too. So she appreciates that. It's a whole family occasion here, and we appreciate you having us on, TM. Thanks again.
All right, guys, make sure to hit that like button on your way out. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Go show Dave Collects, and his family some love over on Instagram and YouTube. And make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. Stay tuned, everyone. And as always, my friends, stay nerdy.